All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay. Am I on? Am I on? Okay. Child, the weed doctor got to make sure her mic is on while she getting up in front of crowds of people. Okay. So today, child, we are going to be having an exciting talk today. We're going to be talking about mental health, spiritual health, and hair loss. Okay, child, it's like a three in one. And some of you guys do not, I know you may say, well, weave doctor, what does this have to do? What does this have to do with hair loss? Okay. And the weave doctor has just, because you know the weave doctor be getting her education on, okay? All right. Good evening to everybody. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Yeah. So, anyways, the weave doctor just took a class, honey. Okay. The weave doctor took a class. And you know, I should already know some of these things because I do claim to be a Christian. Okay. But anyways, the weird doctor took another detox and food regeneration class. I just completed my course, honey, and we have learned how the mental. Well, the weird doctor already knew about the mental health problem, but even the spiritual aspect, which can help you keep on some of these nutrition diets and help to alleviate some of the stress that one may be going through. A lot of times, if you do not have your mental health in check, or if you're or even your spiritual health in check, then a lot of times we are out of alignment. So, anyways, the weed doctor child, you know, the weed doctor been doing some hot topics lately. Okay, we are trying to become relevant. Okay, so anyways, we want to talk about a couple of things today. We want to talk about Travis. Now we're going to talk about Travis Scott. This is one of our events, and this ties into the public health and the mental health and all this type of stuff. We're only going to talk about him for a little bit. Anyways, we're talking about this child because this child is destroyed, and this is just an example of how some of the things that we watch that are inappropriate or that are not really positive driven can affect our mental health and make us more sad, worried, more anxious. There is so much negativity out there online, even on TV. Right now, I think at one point when COVID had first started, we were scared to death about everything that we saw on TV. I mean, it's like almost every time you watched the TV, you was wondering if there was a spike, if there was going to be shutdowns. And I normally do not watch TV. But during that time, girl, I was glued to the TV, okay, and online because I wanted to keep abreast on all the new updates and mandates that they had. But at the same time, we have to be careful because some of these things they can make us extremely anxious and affect our overall mental health. So and also with hair loss, one of the biggest things. There are a lot of people who deal with traumatic diffusive alopecia and alopecia areata. A lot of these things are spewed on by mental health stress and also I guess a lack of not having a more spiritual awareness. And a lot of times if we're not spiritually aware, then we're not able to calm our minds as easy. We're not able to ground or even sometimes make the proper decisions, which can ultimately make your life less stressful and child stop you from losing all the hair that you got on your head. Okay. So anyway, so yeah, that's one of the things we talked about earlier. And child, we feel so sorry for all those victims out there who went to that Travis Scott concert. Number one, my mother, well, most of those kids are over 21, but there were some individuals who were 14 years old. My mother would be watching me, honey. I would not probably be able to go to that concert. And number one, it was 50,000 people. And then and even though we're not talking about this has nothing, that aspect of the mental health, that don't have nothing to do with mental health. But all them people would have drove me crazy up in there, especially with no mask on. I don't see how all of these people did it at this event. But a lot of people they were severely injured, and also there were some people who were trying to say that some of these things were actually part of an occultic type of thing that he does. But pretty much all of these things, child, the weed doctor was watching that story. Child, I think I was rocking and tossing in my bed after that. That's why we have to be careful what we are listening to, what we are thinking on. For example, this guy, Travis Scott, has had a record of really putting a lot of different type of negative imagery in his music. So as people who are trying to better their mental and spiritual health, we have to make sure that we are not listening to things like that that is going to bring us down. That's going to bring forth chaos and confusion. I heard this boy at the concert. He was telling the people to search. Girl, he was child, he trying to incite riots, child, allegedly. Okay, child, we can't be having that. And so that's why we have to watch what we're feeding our brains, because ultimately, child, it can help feed your hair. Okay. But anyways, the weave doctor is going to give you some tips, and these are some quick tips and that you can do that can help help to alleviate the cortisol. Again, like I said, when we watch all these things, child, it can make us feel like we're going crazy. It can actually, there are studies out there right now that show that the more that you watch the news, your cortisol level goes up. Also, when you have a lot of that's why I tell everybody it's good to turn off your phones an hour or 2 hours before going to bed. Child, the weed doctor is struggling with this one, child. It is so hard. And another thing, and we, even though we're getting off the topic of Travis, the other day I was watching this movie, honey, and that is a wonderful movie. I believe it's called The Harder They Fall, and it's on Netflix. Girl, it had Regina King and Idris Eldris, our man crush on there. Okay, honey. Child, I was so wrapped up in this movie. And that's another thing. When we get home, we have to find other ways to wind down. Things like maybe we might want to read a book, do some meditation. That book had me, I mean, that movie had me so wound up, honey. I was so into it, child. I thought I was a cowgirl. After that, child, I felt like I was a Jocelyn doing it like it's my birthday, riding like a cowgirl. Okay. So, anyways, honey, I was just so enthralled with this movie, honey. I forgot what time it was. And when we do not sleep on time, when we do not create a healthy regimen for our bodies, we create chaos, and our bodies, our hormones are not able to be as balanced. We have to make sure that we get our circadian rhythm in check. A lot of some of us circadian rhythm all over the place. One day we're going to bed at 9 o'clock, next day 12 o'clock, 1 a.m., 3 a.m. These things are not really good. Really, our bodies are supposed to be going to bed really before 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at the latest. I had heard some practitioners out there that say you can go to bed at 1 a.m. However, I find when I go to bed earlier that I have a better rest, better state of mind. I can come to my job and do whatever I have to do, feeling more aware of my surroundings, just feeling more energized. All of these things play a part of helping our hair to grow back as well. And a lot of times, some of these things, it takes a restraint. That's when the spiritual aspect comes into play. Okay, and the weed doctor's not perfect yet. The weed doctor's still trying herself. Okay, so when the spiritual aspect is that we need to do other things that are helping to build our spiritual lifestyle, besides just sitting on all these channels, child, trying to watch the newest Netflix out there, trying to watch the latest drama. Okay, child, trying to see all the negativity that's on TV. All of these things are raising our cortisol. And cortisol is shown, it's proven that it raises the DHT in the scalp. So we have to make sure that we find ways to reduce our stress level. Okay, Lord child today. So right now, we're going to give you some tips. And we already talked about some of them earlier. Tip number one, don't watch music that does not make you calm, especially before going to bed. Okay. Especially some of this Travis Scott music, child. Some of these ratchet music that make you want to act like and there are studies on that too. Some of the beats and these music, they are so addicting. They drive adrenaline within the system. It also gives you almost like a drug response. I don't know if it's dopamine, but it gives you that type of response. But you're getting all hyped up listening to some of this music, and you do not need to be pumped up, baby, before going to bed. Some of y'all eating all the child, y'all gonna need some spiritual help for real. Okay, tell to bring the power down. Okay, because some of y'all are eating all these snacks, cookies, chips, fruit juice right before going to bed. How is your mind going to be able to be calm? Okay, how are you going to be able to be in a restful state if you eating all these chicks and chicks and Twix and sugar daddies and all this crap? Child, you messing up. You're messing up. So we gotta that's another thing. Got to make sure that we remove that. So that's step number two. The third thing is to make sure that avoiding watching or listening to negative movies such as horror, X-Files, murder cases, and even things that just get your adrenaline pumping. Again, I told you guys earlier, make sure to turn off that TV if you can. An hour and a half before going to bed, child. And this is so hard. I have been struggling. Child, the weed doctor struggles too. I've been struggling trying to accomplish this. It is so difficult. Okay, so we did that step. The next step, I think the step number 4, make sure you avoid negative speaking, arguing, and talking, in a very aggressive manner before going to bed. Listen to too much gossip. These things do not relax the body and the mind, okay, and can disrupt your spirit, child. You best be all shook up, okay? We can't have none of that, okay? So we want to make sure, get that negative Nancy off the line that's always calling you at night, child, right before you go to bed, talking about all your problems, child. You got problems that you can't even deal with, okay? We got to find ways to have better stress management. We ain't got time for nobody else problems in 222. We're trying to keep all the strands of hair on our head. Okay. Okay. So the next thing, now we already kind of talked about this. Control what you watch, what you're exposed to, and also limit your cell phone usage. So we want to make sure that we limit our cell phone usage. Again, a lot of us, child, some of us, we can drown and on Instagram and YouTube. We can almost go on like a straight up, just like you just having a toxic I can't even think of the word right now, but you're just sitting there and just going on and on and on, episode after episode after episode. Okay, that's something we don't want to do, especially right before going to bed. It's definitely not going to. That's another thing they're saying, that when you're on these cell phones, the blue light, or the light that's being emitted from the phone, is causing some disruptions in the nervous system. So it's making you not as relaxed. Okay. All right. And this is another thing. The next one, adopt a more positive outlook on life. Okay. Try to be positive. Again, like we said earlier, get away from them negative people. Okay. Them negative people, some of them your cousin and your mama and sister, brother. Okay, we have to limit some of that conversation if you want to distress, have those cortisol levels go down, honey, so that we were able to regrow hair back. Stress is real. Stress can actually make your hair come out. A lot of people did not believe that until the pandemic came, and so many people realized that they were now suffering from hair loss. Okay, all because of the stress of having a lot of their loved ones at home, dealing with some of their crazy husbands and wives. Okay, child, we got to do better in 2022. All right, and another thing. Now these are we have 2 more left. Don't do life alone. Okay, join a community group. Some people have church support groups, some things that are uplifting to help make you feel more positive. If you don't, I noticed that people who regularly attend these type of community groups and support groups, they generally have a more positive outlook on life, especially if they're going through bad negative situations. The weed doctor has seen it personally, child, up front and personnel. It's better to be, join these groups. Some people say, well, some of them church people, some of the community groups, child, they just fake anyway. Okay, you got a lot of fake people on your job, you still go. Okay. At the end of the day, you're not going for them. You are going for you and your spiritual and mental wealth and awareness. You're bettering yourself daily when you go to these things. So and I actually got that tip from David Ramsey. That's his favorite thing that he says on his channel. Don't do life alone. So, child, that is terrible, child. Don't do life alone, honey. Find something that you can hold on. Okay. Don't let go of God's unchanging hand. Okay. The next thing they'll be talking about now, practice prayer and meditation. This is the last one. This is what gets us more spiritual grounded. And this actually, I find when you are more spiritual, you are able to do things that your mind, body does not normally want you to do. For example, eating healthy. Okay. I know a lot of people have bouts with this, child. Nowadays, people just do not want to eat healthy. They rather do, or they want to do the most least amount of soul infliction of the soul. Okay, child, if you want to be healthy, you have got to learn how to afflict your soul so that you will be able to progress and be able to have patience and endurance while you're suffering, child, watching everybody eating all that nice lovely ham and chitlins. Child, I know some of y'all don't eat no chitlins, okay? But my father was from the Midwest, and I've been eating chitlins since a little kid. Okay, can oh baby, let me make some other ones. Oh, nice candy yams, macaroni and cheese. Now, we're finding out nowadays there are a lot of organic, vegan, and grain-free natural alternatives. You know, a lot of times we are so used to making the good old fashioned double charcoal crispy, five types of sugars induced colored yams. Okay, when they have so many other healthier alternatives. We have to find other healthier alternatives, and how we can make our soul less strong. Because some of our souls too strong, child. We don't want to go nowhere where we're not getting our grub on and getting what's on our top pick. Okay, and we have to think overall about our overall health. That is actually a mental and spiritual choice. You know, you have to decide and have the willpower to strengthen yourself, strengthen the good part of your soul and spirit, so that you are not sitting over there trying to quit the diet every other week. And also, you're not sitting over there eating popcorn, because a lot of times when you're watching some of these shows, especially these gossip channels, child, you are eating. A lot of times I find eating a lot, from I hear a lot of my clients, you are eating things that you have no business be eating. Okay, and this is just like a natural, I guess, hobby for some. We just, especially during the pandemic, just been sitting back, watching all the movies, child, and eating up all the popcorn and chips and cookies and all the toxic foods that we should not be eating, which a lot of people do not also realize this, that when you do not eat proper, you actually rend yourself of some of the nutrients that is required for building a lot of different cellular energies, and different lot of and enriching some of the pathways in the body, and also giving your actual hair the nutrients that it needs. So that's why it is imperative, child. We got to get our spiritual health together, get our mental health and wellness together, so that we can stay long and strong on this hair loss journey. All right, and that's another thing. The weed doctor, child. Watch out, child. The weed doctor's gonna be giving away some hair. Okay, okay. Child, look at this deep curly hair weighing in that 10 pounds. Okay, we're gonna be doing some giveaways, child, and this is for alopecia clients only. We're gonna get the post some of the graphics and information later on throughout this week, and we're gonna be talking about how you can apply for a free unit. Okay, a free unit, child. You know you can't get that for free in this world, okay? But child, the weed doctor is doing it today, okay? So we hope that was you had a this was very informative for you. For all of you guys, make sure to follow us on all our social media platforms, like and share. And also, we're doing hair restoration. We got some more tricks up our sleeve, more steam treatment, cold therapy, child, massaging, child, honey, girl, we doing the works. Getting the massages. You coming to get your hair and your scalp revitalized. You got to come on down to the weed doctor, honey. We are located in Bowie, Maryland, and we're also doing the custom unitives. Come on down. You might need a custom unit if you're suffering from hair loss. All right. We hope that was helpful for you guys, and we hope to see you next week. Bye now.